Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Today we're finally getting back to the Ford mower. Okay, so I got the frame here now, nice and pressure washed. It's not perfectly clean, there's still some grease in some areas, but it's clean enough to comfortably work with now, so I'm happy with that. The other thing is, this is the transaxle that was on it. And this is not going to work for my build here because this is a hydrostatic variable speed transaxle, and that's not the type of axle you want for any type of racing or off-road mower because it just doesn't, you can't really gear it up at all without like messing stuff up. So what you want is a manual shift transaxle. So I took a quick trip to the junkyard here and let me show you what I just picked up. What I have here is a Peerless Model 820 transaxle. This is one of the best transaxles you can use for pretty much any racing mower. And that's just because they're built extremely well. They have 1-inch axles, all bearings inside, and they're just built very well. But this one has something wrong with the inside because this, you can see this is the shifter here, and this is supposed to be able to turn to shift gears. But as you can see, it doesn't turn. So there's something wrong in there with the shifter setup. I'm hoping it's not a broken gear. So I have one more bolt to take out on this before I can take the two halves apart, and we'll see what's wrong inside with it. There we go. It definitely spent some time with some water in it, I can see here, but it doesn't look like the gears themselves are actually rusted too bad, or even the shaft here. So I think I'll be able to clean this up. I'm gonna try that. And I still don't know what's wrong with the shifter here. I see a spring line in there. So I'm gonna take all this apart and try to clean it up, and then we'll see what's wrong with it. Okay, so actually after looking at this a little bit closer, I can see why it wasn't shifting. This is the piece right here that, I don't know what it's called, but it attaches to the selector fork, and this is supposed to move back and forth on this shaft to change gears. But because there's some surface rust on this, it won't slide back and forth on there. These keyways are kind of seized up. So that's why it wasn't shifting. So I should be able to fix that just after cleaning it up. But I'm gonna take this all apart now and then clean it up. Okay, well it turns out that the stuck shifter is pretty much going to be the least of my concerns here. If you look at this shaft here, that part right here is supposed to be straight, but the needle bearings that go around this have gotten so chewed up that I don't know if you can even see it in there, but let me try to get this in here. If I just like stick my finger in there, there's all, well, what's left of the bearings. They're just all chewed up, and this is just garbage. But if you thought that was bad, look at the other side of this shaft here. That's also supposed to be straight. And the needle bearing for that side, you can see there aren't even any bearings left in there, and the hole is now more of an oval. So this shaft, along with the bearings on either side of it, are complete garbage. So I'm going to need to try to find replacement parts for that. From looking at everything else, I don't see any other issues other than maybe this. There's this like thrust bearing here that is pretty messed up. So I'd probably need to fix that. Replace that as well. So I'll try to find replacement parts for this, and if I can, then that'll be good. Then I can probably make this work. If I can't, then I'll have to look for another transaxle. So hopefully I can find what I need. Alright, so I just took a quick trip to the junkyard to try to find another lawnmower that had the same transaxle in it so that I could possibly take it apart and get the same shaft out of it. But I wasn't able to find any other lawnmower with a Peerless 820 in it out of the probably 100 lawnmowers that were there. This was the only one that had it, and I already got it. And I did find replacement parts for this online. You're able to get replacement parts for all this stuff. The problem is it'd probably be close to $200 for this and those few bearings. So what I'm gonna do now is just move ahead with cleaning all this stuff up, and I'll figure out what to do with this when I get there. Okay, so I've got all the parts of the transaxle here soaking in some gas to try to dissolve all that grease. I've got some of the bearings in this little container here. Also over here I have the two halves of that transaxle. I pressure washed these to get most of the grease off, and then right now they're just sprayed down with some WD-40, and I will be scrubbing these clean also in the near future so they're nice and sparkly. That's pretty much all I have for you today. The next thing will be starting to get this frame prepped and everything for the drive system. I'll mount the engine onto here. I'll mount the transaxle onto the back and then figure out how to connect the two. So that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.